handful of topics today. Cover is the biggest one. Next on the list is how to use your grapple more effectively and more subtly. Importantly, I'm not a master at these, I'm learning these as I film this episode. The key to surviving in PvP is damage resistance and health pool. Alright, and so cover is basically like practical damage resistance. So I'm finding it's really hard for me to wire this into memory. Look at me, I'm out in the open right here. Anyway, I'm going to try and grapple to cover. Or possibly grapple so that I can fly past cover in an unpredictable way. But my grapple endpoint is going to be, hopefully, behind cover. That's going to be something else I'm going to focus on. Did he grapple up over the top of that? Did he float up over the top of it? Alright guys, so the matches here are going by pretty quick for the first little bit, and that's because it's a new technique for me. So what I'm going to try and do here is just focus on what I'm doing right with each engagement. I want to talk about this right here. I'm behind cover. There's somewhere I want to push up to, but the important part is I've pushed up here to cover. I pushed from cover to cover, and that's something that I was consciously trying to do, at least early on in this series, small series of matches. Alright guys, I've seen some comments saying that you can potentially get off a shot and a melee at the end of the grapple. We tried this for what, I don't know, 15 minutes, half an hour. We could not get it to work. Maybe if you have super high handling and like quick sling on your gun and maybe snapshot sights, you know, I don't know. Snapshot probably doesn't matter. You probably just want to gut shoot it. But maybe. But everything that we both tried it for several minutes, and there was no way that we could get a shot off and then still continue our powered melee. So I don't know, maybe it's something that was working for a while and then they fixed it. But unfortunately, what I did find seems to be working just fine is the Warlock double melee. As far as I can tell, I think I got some clips. It's hard to say for sure, but it looks like the Warlock melee jump melee is alive and well. And man, it is trashing my grapple melees, and that's sad to me. Got a 30% chance I'll hit a Warlock, and if I hit a Warlock, I'm toast. I really think there's a lot of functionality in these tangles that I've yet to unlock. Tons of mobility options. Charged melee is so incredibly powerful. Did that curve around the corner and hit him? I don't know. Right there, I want to talk about my melee, actually. That melee, I've rebound my charged and uncharged melees to different keys. I think contextual binding is not good for the brain. I don't think the brain can actually handle contextual binding. It's just like, you know, I think Veritasium did a lesson on handlebars, like switching your handlebars the other way, or if they randomly switch, like your brain will never learn it. It just won't. You know what I mean? The brain is a pattern recognizing machine. It's a neural network. It's designed to recognize consistency and patterns. It does not handle inconsistency at all. It completely destroys the learning algorithm. So, what you want to do, I think, is never have contextual key bindings that do one thing in one situation and something in another situation. What you want is consistency always. And so making sure that I have my charged melee up when I need it, the only way that I can guarantee that I'm going to be able to do that reliably is to bind it to a different button. Contextual key bindings, that's it, guys. I can't understate this. Don't use them. The brain doesn't learn them. All right, right here, I want to talk about grappling across a danger zone. Grapple up. So I'm making a mistake there. Grapple up. If you grapple in a straight line, you're not getting a huge advantage. You get a little bit of speed, but grapple up and over those shots. If they have to adjust their reticle upward, they're more likely to miss. All right, right here, I needed to not push that. I pushed out of cover. That melee is awesome. Yeah, so I wanted to call this out, guys. I feel like this is a decent grapple melee, but it's bad. It's bad. Why? Because I grappled into him. I need to really be careful about grappling to cover. You can maybe grapple through, but you want to do a couple things if you're going to do that. First of all, you want to add some verticality to your grapple so that you're coming up from an angle that's out of their field of view, ideally. And secondly, you want to terminate your grapple out of sight so they aren't prepared for it, because you still have momentum when you come out of your grapple. So the idea is that you want to shoot past the wall that's blocking line of sight, and again at a sort of an off angle, and in a way that's not predictable. This I wanted to capture just because I feel like at that range this super should hit, especially because it's still a fairly squishy super. I'm still struggling to get a hold of the range on this thing, but I honestly feel like a couple of extra meters on this super is not going to make it OP. You know what I mean? Not at all. It's nowhere near what a lot of the supers are that other classes have. And I feel like you could give it another meter or two and not break it. I'm really liking using Traveler's Chosen. I'm not doing a good job necessarily always of gathering light, or even proccing the trait where it becomes a strand weapon, but I do love it when that procs. So when I am actually able to use my grenade, geez, this thing just tears people apart, and it's emitting all these like severing strands. You can see them in a couple of shots. It's super potent when I proc that. So if you're using your grapple like I am a lot here to keep your woven mail up, I think you're gonna find the Traveler's Chosen is gonna be really reliable and consistent, right? I'm assuming you can close the distance decently enough. Yeah, just out of range there. Okay, here, toss that melee and drop back to cover. It's so epic. Here, I need to talk about something. Don't push that. That was a terrible grapple. Even if there only been one guy, they know where you're coming. Put your grapple before the line of sight breaks, so that you come through with the momentum, but so they don't know that you're coming. And ideally, again, place it up. Place it up. So that was a terrible grapple. I wanted to call that out. This I felt like was a decent grapple coming around, but I lost to this ridiculous Warlock melee right here. That second melee comes in really tight, and even if I had been landing those shots, that second melee I believe would have dropped me before I would have dropped him. And I got a couple of other examples I think in here of that double melee. It's really not my favorite. See, right there, I wish I would have taken a higher angle. This actually, I mean, it worked out, but I really need to add verticality to my grapples. I don't like where the verticality is at right now. Okay, here's a good example. Grapple high. I don't think I would have got away if I'd have grappled low. I think because I think he had to compensate. My guess is he was looking for my head with his reticle, and if I'd grappled low, he'd have got snapped to me much faster, and he would have taken me out. So the only reason I survived that escape is because I grappled onto a different plane, and he had to move vertically, and so he bodied me, and it wasn't enough. I slowed that down just because. So here's another example. Grappled high, came in above him, was actually able to drop him even in his super like that. See, I'm surrounded there on the radar. I'm standing in the middle of the open. I got the one kill. I should have ducked out. I shouldn't have even really been engaging from that angle. So I started to get sloppy. You know, I was holding onto the cover for a while, and then I would drop it. So I'd get good at it for a couple of matches. I'd focus on it, and then I'd do stuff like that, right? Like there's two of them there, and I'm just standing there in the middle, where both of them can hit me easily. If I'd have been over to one side or the other, one of them probably wouldn't have been able to have a good angle on me. And the other one might have missed on a couple of body shots, right? And I might have been able to survive that engagement. At least traded one for one.
You captured Zone C. You have zone advantage.
I just love the extra mobility that it gives you. And then, you know you've got woven mail up. So I think I still had it at the very beginning of that engagement. I didn't realize that he had tossed his melee as well. Alright, I kept that in. I don't actually know if I landed that suspend on the people behind me, but I felt like it was well executed for the most part, even though I think I only got one kill out of it. I'm like, I gotta get out of dodge. I think I was like the only one that survived. Look at all those skulls. It was brutal. Brutal up there. Not close enough to do enough damage with this gun. Pulling some kills in though. A little too aggressive here. I mean, there's still a lot of red on the radar. I don't entirely mind, but I really needed to be more careful.
Your enemy has a power play.
That's the only time, well, even then, like, if he had been baiting me and watching me, he would have known where that strand was and probably come at me. I think my tangle would have been a little bit shy where he could see if he was hiding around a corner, so maybe it's okay. My momentum would have carried me past it, which is what I want, but again, ideally, I would have put that a little higher so I came in at a higher angle.
Some people think I don't like hunters. I don't. Zone it.
Cropped off shacks there. Some people say I don't like hunters. I don't. And then that's all we got.
2 for 1.
Well executed. The biggest issue is that there was nothing but strand worms there. That's all that was there. Otherwise, I think it was a well-placed dive.
Fight again. Persistence is key.
I am loving that new Hunter grapple melee. It's chewing people up. Here, that was not a good grapple. And the reason is, I did not grapple to cover. I need to grapple to cover. Grappling to someone while they're backing away like that, probably not a good idea either. You know, I mean, in that case, I think he was trying to reload or something, worked out. But, you know, if he'd had a shotgun and something to switch to, you know, apart from the fact that it maybe freaks him out a little, it's not a great tactic. Oh, whiff the melee there. Or I think that we would have dropped him a little bit faster. Trying to tap that grapple often so that I have open mail and so that my Traveler's Chosen gets strand ammo. It's so beautiful that you can get strand ammo on this Traveler's Chosen. It just makes it so powerful. Taking higher angles. I need to do that more consciously. I think I'm kind of subconsciously doing that. I think it's important to take those high angles whenever you can. Again, trying to engage from behind cover, and it was something that I did off and on throughout these matches. I really am hoping over the next couple weeks, next couple episodes, to show an improvement in my ability to engage from cover to cover and always be behind cover when I engage. If I can get my KD up, I've heard that's one of the best things you can do for getting your KD up. If I get my KD up, maybe I'll get a wee ran. And that's probably my first goal. By the way, another big focus of this episode is goals. Like, what kind of goals do you have for Destiny? You know, for me, I want to get a wee ran. I'd like to get a wee ran in the medals. I'd also like to, you know, go flawless in trials at some point, and that maybe means that I need to play some competition. And someday, I'd actually like to go a little bit, you know, like pie in the sky. I'd like to get into the top 100 on like Destiny Tracker. Now I play 6v6. I'm not sure if that's a worthwhile goal, you know, without a team. Maybe I have to do something in Rumble. But I'd like to see if I can do it in 6v6 or at least see how far I can get. Maybe top 1,000. So I have some goals. If you have some goals in Destiny, you know, let me know what those are. Cover. Again, guys, cover. Worked out for me there, guys. So yeah, just trying to be, there's a balance, right? Oh man, that melee. You want to be aggressive, but you want to go aggressively pushing from cover to cover to cover and not chasing, not getting baited. And of course, sometimes it's fun to just put in some work. And as these matches wore on, as I started to get a little bit more comfortable, definitely things started to pick up. Of course, it's also possible my ranking was just dropping, and I was facing some softer opponents. That's the thing that I hate. Another thing that I want to rant on here about a little bit more is skill-based matchmaking. I don't like that when I rank up, I'll do worse. So I'm improving. I've improved. I've gotten better, but it feels worse because I'm getting less kills. And I think it's actually, again, if you're trying to learn what is AI, AI is a pattern recognition system. If the AI, if your brain is seeing that it's done something and it's getting worse at the game because it's dying more, so what it sees as worse, it's gonna be inclined to not do those things, even though they work. They ranked you up. They ranked you up against harder players, and so now you're playing harder players, and now you're losing more. But it wrecks the learning algorithm. You should be allowed, once you've skilled up a little bit, to enjoy that. And maybe that just means that, you know, it takes a lot of winning before you get pushed up to a higher internal ranking. All right, this match was interesting because I'm pretty sure this guy right here, Papa Smurf, is a Smurf account. Just because he wasn't missing. Like, I think my first 3 or 4 deaths were from him, and I think maybe even all of them. Well, he just didn't miss. Got a couple lucky snipes, super kill. But look at that. What was that? Time to kill. I don't even know. That was ridiculous. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, jeez. So to push him here though. I wish I could have like grappled up to them there. If I had charged up some light, maybe I would have been able to. Yeah, stay behind cover. Yeah, it was him, but I pushed out. I was out in the middle of nowhere. Hi. Hiya. See, you got those strand bullets. Got those severing rounds, and it just does so much damage.